We are about to embark upon a series of strange and exciting, dangerous adventures. Adventures that will lead us to all parts of the world.
Hello and welcome to another Bad Comic Review. This time we are looking at Energon Universe Free Comic Book Day 2024 Special. This is a 2024 one-shot from Image Comics under the Skybound banner, written by Daniel Warren Johnson for the Transformers story, with art by Ryan Ottley and colors by Annalisa Leoni. The Void Rivals story by Robert Kirkman, art by Lorenzo De Felici, and colors by Matheus Lopes. The G.I. Joe segment was written by Joshua Williamson, art by Jason Howard, and colors by Mike Spicer. The covers by Ryan Ottley and Annalisa Leoni, and letters are by Rus Wooton with editing by Sean Mankiewicz and Jonathan Manning. Cover of Megatron's pretty cool. I prefer the cover on the regular Energon Universe 2024 special, and you'll notice that these seem to be very similar. Well, I'm doing the Free Comic Book Day issue because it was the first one I grabbed. So we start off with Megatron fighting some Autobots, and he's primarily fighting with Optimus Prime. Things are getting ugly, and of course we find out that this was a flashback, and we find out where Megatron's been this whole time, and it involves an enemy of the G.I. Joes. So from there we jump over to Void Rivals, where we see one of the bad guys from that series talking to someone, and Hot Rod shows up, and we get a little bit of a tease for what might be coming up in that storyline, in that comic. And then we jump over to G.I. Joe, where Baroness is attacked by some bad guys, and Duke jumps in to save the day and try and recruit her. I'm not a giant fan of the art style being used in Transformers. The robots look pretty cool, but it's too many action lines and it looks a little bit busy and sloppy sometimes. The humans don't look that great, so it's just not a style I prefer. It's okay, but it's not great. The Void Rivals had a more simplistic and somewhat cleaner style, but it definitely needs a little bit of work with anatomy. So the artist is a little better, but it's boxier, and people's body proportions don't always line up correctly, which is a way worse problem for the G.I. Joe story, because the body proportions are ludicrous. It's got that pseudo-anime. I don't know what's going on with Flint's chin, but he's got some kind of like tumor growth there that is supposed to be a chin, but it looks gigantic and unhealthy, and the body proportions are abstract to say the least. So while I was most excited about G.I. Joe when Skybound took over, I have to say the art is garbage. What does this look like compared to the regular Energon Universe 2024 special that you could buy on the stands? They're exactly the same. The Free Comic Book Day issue is exactly the same as the $4 book. So you could have picked this up for free or paid $4 for it in the same week. The only difference is the cover paper seems slightly crappier on the Free Comic Book Day version. Otherwise, they're identical. So buy whichever one you can find cheaper, or whichever one has the better cover if they're the same price. This cover's okay, but I prefer the other cover a little bit better, but this one was free and I paid $4 for the other one, so I guess I'm the sucker here. But if you're looking to get into the Transformers, Void Rivals, or G.I. Joe, I would start here. It's a good introduction to the universe at large because it is crossing over all of those titles. They're all interconnected as a shared universe, so you can look forward to that. But I didn't have a problem with any of the stories, just the art is a little lower grade than I would have hoped for in at least one of them. The one is total dog crap, and that's the G.I. Joe one. So roll your dice on that one if you're really interested. So I will recommend picking this up if you're thinking about getting into any of these series. They're all still early on in their runs, so you can jump in fairly easily. But I would definitely try and get the cheaper copies and try and get the Free Comic Book Day one if it's a couple bucks cheaper than the regular Energon Universe 2024 special, because they're identical. There's no difference at all in the content. And that's going to do it for this episode. Thank you so much for listening and supporting the channel. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss future reviews. If you'd like to help the channel out in other ways, links are in the description. And as always, we hope to see you on the next one.